it looks like the best you're going to be able to get out of the Senate is a version of the John Lewis bill, if that, because it seems like they're not going to get to 60 votes on that either. But let's just concentrate on that bill for the moment. What does that bill do, and what does it not do that the For the People Act does do?
Yeah, well, first of all, I thought your previous segment was fascinating, Lawrence. But, H.R. 4 is a great bill, the John Lewis Voting Rights Act. And I want to stress that, because when we're talking about the For the People Act and H.R. 1 that we've already passed in the House and that looks like its passage is going to be difficult in the Senate, we need to remember that H.R. 4 is still really, really important because it restores the Voting Rights Act and improves it from what was done to it in 2013 when the Supreme Court struck down the coverage formula. And so they said the coverage formula was based on past practices and did not apply to current things that were happening. And that for that reason, it was unconstitutional. And they struck down that coverage formula. And so states like my state, Texas, no longer were under the pre-clearance regime where they had to have voting changes cleared by the Department of Justice. H.R. 4 would reestablish that coverage formula, but have a national coverage formula that could apply to any states that had voting rights violations in the last 25 years. They met a certain threshold. They would then be in pre-clearance. It has some other great things too, like practice-based pre-clearance, meaning that certain changes to elections would have to be pre-cleared no matter where they occurred, and would also require a reasonable notice for voters ahead of time of voting changes. These are all great things. What it wouldn't do is deal with laws that are already passed. So like what happened in Georgia, or if the Texas bill passes before we pass H.R. 4, it is about pre-clearance of laws that are being made and passed in real time. It doesn't apply to past bills that have already become law.
Let's go to this issue that the New York Times has raised, which is an inadequacy in both of these bills, and that is neither one of them do anything about how votes are counted and what the states are going to do after the polls close, because Georgia has rewritten that, Texas is trying to rewrite that, and rewrite it in a way that makes it look like it might be possible for certain states to actually overturn the will of voters and declare the loser the winner.
Yeah, this is probably the most dangerous thing that we've seen, Lawrence. In this entire spate of laws that have been passing, there are so many terrible things, like in Texas, trying to get rid of Sunday morning voting, try and stop souls to the polls, specifically trying to stop Black voters, of course, from going to vote on Sunday mornings. But this idea that we might have a partisan legislature overturning the will of the people and deciding who really won the election just based on who they wanted to win it is so dangerous. And it's true that H.R. 4 does not have anything in it that would address that. The John Lewis Voting Rights Bill doesn't have anything that would address that specifically. And that even H.R. 1, the For the People Act, doesn't have anything that would address that specifically. It could still be challenged. And I want to stress that, Lawrence. I think we could still see that challenged in court. And so it's possible that maybe under a Section 2 Voting Rights Act claim, we could get those provisions thrown out. But this is the moment that any legislature in this country overturns an election is the moment that our democracy may be irreparably damaged.
Is anyone now, I mean, one reason why there's nothing in either bill about this is that we hadn't seen it. It didn't exist as a concept. We first saw it in Georgia when they wrote that in the middle of the night, and suddenly, there it is in law. And so the bills we're talking about had already been written. Is there any attempt now in Congress to try to catch up with this and try to figure out a legislative approach to it from the federal level?
There is, and I've already had some conversations around this, and we'll see if legislation comes out of it. I certainly think we have to address it. But you're right, Lawrence. I mean, we never thought that we might have legislatures thinking they can overturn elections. And, this is all part of this idea that we're still dealing with from January 6th, that, President Trump may think he can be reinstated, or that certain senators may be able to be reinstated, and that the election will be thrown out, and that, this is all incredibly dangerous to American democracy. What we're talking about here is a coup. That's what happens when you overturn elections in which someone was democratically elected and has taken office, and you remove them from office. And of course, there was an attempt at an insurrection on January 6th. I was there. I was on the House floor. I saw the insurrectionists. So what we need basically in legislation at the federal level is three things. Make sure that we allow Americans to register to vote, make sure that they can vote early by mail and on election day without interference, and make sure that their votes are counted and those results are protected and they're not diluted, Lawrence, through gerrymandering, which I know you care about a lot as well.